welcome to the studio, and we would love to initiate this conversation with you and spread your message across. You are one of those meaningful startups for us. Please, let's start with the questionnaire. Is that okay? Should I start?
Yes, Arjun, we can start. Thank you for hosting me, and it's great pleasure to connect with you, and we can start. Yeah.
Thank you. So how did it come about? So the basic question that I have is, how did it come about? Why did you go into this domain? What made you move in the direction of an innovation in this domain? So please give us a history, a story of yours.
Yeah, of course. That question asked me many times, so I have a ready answer for that. So there are, you can say, 3 points which bring me or brought me here. So first is that I'm from a pure technical background, electrical engineering. So I worked earlier on power infrastructure, power distribution, so battery chargers. These things are not new to me. So when we are planning to venture in this startup or to think at that time we were thinking that what should we do. So first question was that we should do something which we have a control, because as a startup you should know what you are going to do. You should aware about basic technology, and then you will come like a self-dependent. Otherwise you always rely on others technology or their knowledge and all those things. So first uh, point was because I am from that background, so that is my comfort zone in terms of technology selection. And most important, our business is mostly on the service side, so operation and maintenance is quite important factor.
Right.
So that was the first. Second, we want to bring sustainability as a factor. In 2017 when we started, at that time it was quite discussed. So we were thinking, what should we start in renewable or like solar or something like that. Then we got to know about EVs and how that time in Europe it was getting momentum. Means everybody was talking and all those things. So we have some connect, some discussion happened. So we thought, oh, EVs, and then we thought about some background whether it is going to help India or not. So of course the basic reason was, first is the pollution. So of course we have a good number of cities in the pollution. Then we have a very huge dependency on the fuel imports and all those things. So immediately we thought, of course it is going to happen. Maybe not that time, after some time. So that was the second point which bring us here. And third, of course, generating employment, revenues as a commercial and all those things. Since we at that time we have seen that in Europe it is having a culture developing, people are adopting EVs. So we thought, of course in India people will think on that. Maybe it will take some time, but definitely it is going to happen. So altogether, from the technology perspective, from our control on the subject which we are doing right now, at that time we were thinking, and most important, sustainability and generating employment, because as a startup our first focus is to bring these things in ecosystem. So with that thought process we enter in EV. Then we thought what we should do on the EV, because EV is also a vast ecosystem. Right now you are doing that vehicle, then motor, batteries, controller, then charging infrastructure, of course, those charging infrastructure, then manufacturing, then charging as a service. So then we segregated as per our capability, how we can sustain on a longer term. So at that time we thought vehicle manufacturing is not our forte, because we are not from that background and we never did that. So that's, then we remove that vertical. Okay, we will not go in that. Then on the charging infrastructure, so as I mentioned, my background is purely from the operation maintenance of the asset and especially electrical assets. So we thought it's a domain where we can succeed. And most important, it was new for everybody. So everybody had to start from zero. Nobody can claim that I have a 25 or 30-year experience or like that. So everybody started on zero. So we also started on zero. So then we thought, let's go on the charging as a service CPO model. So that was the thought process at that time. And somehow I believe we are succeed till whatever we got the momentum. So this is how we started. Yeah.
So market is talking. Yes, I believe that you are on the right path. So just wanted to ask you, where are you positioned in the market? How is in the market? There might be other players as well in front of you. They might have started at the same time. What have they digressed into? How are you distinguished? What is your position?
So
It is a
I'll
difficult
answer
question, I
this.
know.
No, not a difficult.
Okay.
My
Great.
answer remains same in across all the platform. First thing is
Right.
that this is not the time to make a set benchmark or comparison, because
Agreed.
we hardly have a 1-2% penetration in
Right.
terms of EV volume.
Right.
Charging infrastructure numbers
Right.
are hardly 2,500 max to max public charging infrastructure and all those things.
Right.
So nobody can claim that I am a top, you are on the down or lower position. So
Hmm.
I believe this is the time to focus on your business model. That is what we are doing. We are not thinking of competition and all those things. Whatever we have our vertical focus means, where because we are coming with a segmental approach, because every user or EV user behavior is different for a four-wheeler, for a two-wheeler, for a three-wheeler. So I don't think this is the correct time, but yeah, since we started in 2017, so we have early mover advantage. We are well connected in the ecosystem. Either it's a policymaker, either it's a EV OEM, and most important, we are getting a good response in the market. So that is, I believe, a best part of this journey. As a competition, I believe, yeah, it's now increasing. Everybody is in the race. Lots of new companies are coming. Earlier when we started, I think only 3-4 people are there, and at that time people were not sure whether it is going to happen or not, or what will happen. Even some people asked that, boss, what you are doing? EVs, it's a long journey. You will come to by 24 25, then you will see some
Even
momentum.
now, they say
Even
that 5 years from now is the adoption of an EV, which is actually measurable. Even if the cars are there, people will not be adopting till 5 years. You will see actually the critical point where it will inflection point where you will say that the market is now moving towards EV. That's what I have heard in the market. So some of my mentors are saying that yes, you are the early mover because I've just bought an EV for myself. But then in the end, it's majorly about you are the first mover, man. We have to talk about the real math that works for an EV ecosystem. So I kind of believe in it. I also think that yes, even now, but yeah, the market is, but I think the competition and the market will obviously have a very positive impact on the speed of what we are predicting. I believe that the predictive nature of ours makes us go to 5 years, but it might not be five. It might be a little earlier than five. That an EV market might just become a very good market to get into and say that now the market is mature. What do you think about
I
this?
agree. I agree your point. I just want to add some points based on our experience. So when we started, we were thinking the first revenue we will generate maybe by 2021. Before that,
Right.
we never expected or calculated. But we started generating revenue in 2019. So that is the, you can say, a sudden change from the behavior perspective, and most important, push from the government, because government was very firm on that. Although lots of things got changed in a segmental approach, like policy, then standards and all those things, then FAME 1 and 2 and all those things are there. But yeah, government was firm that we have to do it, and that makes a really good impact on whole ecosystem. People start believing that okay, it is going to happen. Yeah, from investor perspective, from user perspective, from supplier, or being a OEM, being a service provider like us. So that was the turning point, which you are mentioning, like people are saying 5 years. Definitely it is going to happen before that. I believe like 2023 end, or
Right.
max to max say 2024 first 2 quarter, you will have everything in place in terms of a EV in affordable cost, and then charging infrastructure, good number of chargers you will find, and a ecosystem where people will feel a comfort buying a EV, driving a EV, or owning a complete, either it's a charger, either it's a vehicle. So this is definitely going to happen. One point I just want to add here, government is targeting say 30% adoption by 2030. I
Agree.
believe it will go up to 45 or maybe 50 as well, because that time it is a natural adoption. After 2024, 2025, people will naturally incline towards EV because of available models, pricing, charging infrastructure. Lots of things will be there. So your point is valid, but yeah, it's there are and I believe that these type of talks are very good to give a proper information. Don't misguide people saying that oh, chargers are not available, what will happen, how we will drive. I give you a very simple example.
Agreed.
Being a personal user, you and me, we
Agreed.
don't require even fast chargers, because
Agreed.
our runs are say if I give you 20-30 kilometer in a day, not max than that.
Even
Okay,
180 kilometers a day across a city, right? You are going home to recharge.
that's
Right?
why I'm saying now,
Home to
even
recharge.
anywhere if you get a 16 ampere socket, either you're at home, either at your workplace,
Right.
you get the top up, because people do top up. Even right now in fueling, petrol, diesel, very less people do go for 0 to 100% full tank like
Agreed.
that. So
True.
top up you can do. So, but when it comes to talking, people say, oh, where I should charge, what will happen? Even they are not going to drive more than 20-30 kilometer. So these things are required to give them when we talk on the ecosystem, they should come to a comfort zone by hearing us, to you or to me or to anybody, that we are trying to build something, but it is a ecosystem. It will take time. And in India, you know how difficult to build an infrastructure. We are not one point here to add. We always compare with Europe and US. That is a total different country, different people, culture, infrastructure. So building an infrastructure is quite easy and people will respect that. But in India, people will always try. Even some cases we have seen, people are abusing the asset. They are mishandling and all those things. So we have to make our system as per our geography and what we have a user behavior. According to that, it will take time, but definitely it is going to happen. Yeah.
But even then, the one more thing I would add to this to give more fire to your point is that basically, see, the size of the market makes it a seller's market. Whatever they say, it is becoming a buyer's market. It generally will never be a buyer's market in India for a number of years now. For that point of view, if you see that the seller is there to adopt new things, the percentage of adoption, when you say 1% of India, and then you compare it with a Western country of 1% of this country or that country, obviously you're mistaken. You're not understanding the numbers. You're not understanding how the penetration is happening. So you are measuring it incorrectly. The base is wrong, maybe most of the times. So I agree with you that it is 2023 that the number will reach a point where it will cause a big change to us.
You can just compare or match these things. What happened in COVID? Okay.
Agreed.
People are talking about our numbers. Oh, India is a very heavy numbers, although it was quite dangerous. I know it is not a good thing, but
Agreed.
looking to our population, that impact was hardly a 1%.
Agreed.
Where other countries they got 5%, 10% like that.
Agreed.
So we have to compare with what we have existing,
The
and in
absolutes are
that
different
penetration.
completely. The absolutes are really completely different. So let's move forward. So let's come back to your product and talk about when you say charging as a service, EV as a service, the charging. So please give me that understanding of what is a service for you and how are you defining your product. So one of the questions I gave you, wanted to ask you was that you are also on your platform a CMS as well. So it opened the whole product into not only an offline physical product that gets installed, but also a solution service slash software as a service kind of a product. So please give us an understanding of what the product is all about.
Yeah, I'll brief you how we are operating. So first thing, I just want to make it very clear. So charging infrastructure is governed through the standards. So it is whatever government approved, we have to comply with that if we want to get a open source services. Like if it is a proprietary chargers or vehicle, so then you can charge only with that charger, and then that vehicle is only going to get charged. But we as a CPOs or any CPO will go with open source where anybody can come and charge. Only thing is that whatever government approved standard, we have to put the charger. So instead of one box, we have to put 2-3 chargers or 2-3 boxes like that. You might heard about Bharat AC on the slow charging side, type 2 on the slow charging side, then Bharat DC on the fast charging side, then CCS2 CHAdeMO. Mostly right now used on the fast charging side is Bharat DC01 and CCS2.
Okay.
Now our business model is very simple. We are doing first, sometimes we sell out the complete solutions to our client, mostly home chargers for a housing society, RWS, real estates or hotels. So it could be most of the time slow charger, but it could be a fast charger. So we will sell them, install them, and then maintain them for user or the client. Second is business model is the commercial business or charging infrastructure. So there we invest, own and operate the asset or the infrastructure. Most of the time it will be a fast charger, because in a public domain people are not willing to wait a longer, so they will not prefer to go for a slow charging. So there it comes to the hardware, softwares, and the services. Third business model which you are mentioning, software as a service. Now hardware is interoperable, means whatever you are using, I am using, or my competitor are using, almost same. Maybe on the standard or the pin configuration rating wise, maybe look, feel, get changed. You are making rectangle, I am circular, like that. That will. But the ultimate operation is going through the software, because that is the backbone of the whole ecosystem. When multiple users are going to use, it is totally unmanned operation. User will come to the charging station, download the app. With the app, he going to navigate, search, make the payment, and all those things is going to happen. So it is going to involve charging as a service. On the backend, software as a service is also getting involved. So our services are complete end to end, hardware, software, and the services. As a client, you need not to worry where should I get a hardware, where should I get the software, and how I'm going to operate, because the operation is unmanned. So you need not to put a manpower for that. So we are deploying the solutions, we are operating, and then generating the revenue. Revenues are totally based on the per kilowatt or per unit of sale, because we are using the electricity. So there are some extra component apart from electricity, real estate cost, investment cost. So per unit cost, we have to define like say 20 rupees, 21 rupees on a CCS2 charger. So this is our offering. In that, multiple segmental approach are there, like B2B fleet operator, we are working, B2C fleet operator working, then public charging infrastructure. So public charging infrastructure is mostly prepaid kind of stuff. First you pay according to the tariff, whatever the units will require, it will dispense, automatically gets stopped. Then the B2B fleet operator or any fleet operator, it could be a four-wheeler, it could be three-wheeler, two-wheeler, or even buses. It is a post-paid kind of stuff. Whatever consumption will happen on the whole month within 30 days, all getting logged in the system through our software platform. Each and every events getting logged, units getting logged, and on the final at the end of the month, total reconciliation will happen. According to that, your bill will be generated. So with that, we are catering the demand on the whatever the required. As I mentioned, we are taking a segmental approach. Why I mentioned like that? For home chargers, for personal user, real estate, for housing society, we are selling the solution because users are slightly less. Consumption or utilization is quite less. So that is where we sell it out, and these chargers are not costly, say 50, 60,000 like that. So they can easily own, we can maintain the services, and they can use our software along with that, because whenever there is a multiple user, you always require a software. Where it is required high investment, we are investing, like DC fast charger costing from 2.5 lakhs to up to 20 lakhs. On an average, 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs is required on the hardware only. Then upstream electrical infra, canopy, and all those things is required. So there we are investing. We don't want a client to invest because unnecessary they will think, oh, it is too heavy investment and all those things, how the ROI economics and all those things working. But now people are showing interest on that part as well. So there we are offering a franchise model where our partner should invest, but overall we will operate the ecosystem. So
Right.
this is how we are working. All the hardware comes with a compliance to having an integration facility with the software. We
Right.
have backend for monitoring and all the analytics part. Mobile apps are there and payment gateways are there. So overall, a digital ecosystem is there, unmanned ecosystem is there, but yeah, there are multiple opportunities there, like an installer, like a software as a service, charging as a service. Multiple business model will evolve, and as a Voltic, we are covering whole on the charging infrastructure. Yeah.
Right. Right. So on this note, currently, what is the kind of traction are you getting in the market, and what do you think, what would be your financials currently, and how are you supporting yourself? So how is your startup supporting yourself currently, if it is going this way or that way? I don't know your numbers, so I'm just putting that question on the table. You can do whatever with it.
No, no, we are very transparent on that part. Whatever we have, it is open. Everybody will give you the same feedback on the numbers. So right now we have almost 380 charge points. We are operating
Right.
mix of AC and DC.
Okay.
Whatever charge point we install, as I mentioned, we are not putting a domestic sockets like a 3 ampere socket, a 5 or 16 ampere socket. We are putting as per approved standard, whatever government approved.
Right.
So in market, there are large number players are also available, but those are, these domestic sockets. We are not doing that.
You're not going for that.
So in that, around 120, 30 are fast charger. So that we are owning. We have our own investment on that.
Right.
Now till now we have not raised fund. It is a bootstrap, you can say.
Amazing.
All our own
Wow.
investment.
Wow.
And now things we are saying to scale up. So that is where some discussions moving on the raise fund. So that is on the financial side.
Right.
Now the unit economics, which you are asking on the utilization and unit economics. So
Yes.
that is you need to understand in a two-way. The moment you have a commercial charging station, so you have to understand who is actually going to use your commercial charging station.
Right.
So if you thought right now you have a compulsion to go to a petrol pump, because you cannot own a petrol pump at your home. So that is where either you own a two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, either personal or commercial, you every time need to go to a petrol pump. But beauty of EV is that if you can own your own small, not a big, but a small petrol pump at home, like a home charger.
Agreed.
So that will going to suffice the requirement of charging or fueling of any personal EV user of two-wheeler or four-wheeler. Three-wheeler don't have personal user. So we are coming with a thought process that if I'm looking at a utilization of say 30-40%, I'm saying that is very optimistic. It is not it's easily achievable right now. Hardly a utilization of in India 4-5% max. In Europe and all those things, people are talking about 10-15%. But
Yeah.
let's talk about 20-30 when we have a good numbers and all those things, say 30-35%
Right.
utilization.
Right.
So out of that, say in a day, if I'm looking at 10-hour utilization or 8-hour utilization, so out of that, 6 hours are getting utilized from a commercial user because they cannot afford a slow charging. But a personal user will only utilize the machine for 2 hours in a day if you install a machine.
Right.
So our business model is very clear. We should approach or focus more on the commercial segment because they are the first mover on the EV side. Right now, you might heard about most of the EVs purchased on the commercial segment. Personal users are also coming, but commercials are going very high on the four-wheeler, on the three-wheeler and two-wheeler in like logistics and mile or deliveries everywhere. So we are targeting them to have machine utilization. And that is where my expertise, because I come from a asset management background. So I always believe that sweat the asset, then only you can make money. Otherwise, you can't make money. If it is just for inauguration purpose, just for ribbon cutting, you can't make money. So we are trying to build those case. We are putting the charging station, trying to get a contract from commercial fleets or either four-wheeler, three-wheeler, even we are trying for buses. With that, whatever charging station right now we have installed, we are operating. Everywhere we have 25-30% utilization. Right now we are getting. With the coming time, of course, going to increase. In public domain, we are slightly less active, but slowly we'll put the charging station. That also we are trying to come through some kind of understanding with the commercial user, because they are right now more limited within the city geography. They are not traveling highways, intercities because of range and other issues. So with that combination, we are focusing a commercial segment by our fast chargers network and all those things, a personal user through home chargers, our workplace. Right now, lots of corporates we are talking are discussing to develop a workplace charging mix of slow and fast, because they want their facility EV ready. So with that whole ecosystem, we are targeting and trying to build a use case through utilization, because that is very important in whole economics of EV charging. If
Right.
that is not available, then your whole business will only burn. There is no revenue. So this is how we are targeting. Yeah.
Which is a good approach, and it is a quintessential, a little better than a bootstrap approach. It is obviously better than a bootstrap approach, and it is not a bootstrap approach, definitely. So that's a good thing, yeah. So congratulations to you. How big is your team?
Yes, so my team is not very big, but we come with in that how we can manage the operation. So let me see, give you an example how we are managing. All groundwork is on the contract basis,
Right.
because it is not daily we are installing 100 charging station or like that 50, 100. So all groundwork is on the like installation, commissioning, support, and all those things is a contract manpower thing. And for us, it is quite easy because we need not to onboard everybody. Then after that, the supervision is from my engineer and manager. So right now we are spread across all the metros. Every metros, I have my manpower, my manager, engineer. So total almost direct onboard people are working 15 people only. That is where they are managing all the stuff, because our software is that much strong. We need not require to a big team, because every analytics we are getting online 24/7. So my engineers are monitoring, like one engineer is monitoring minimum 25 to 30 charging stations. So he can easily manage what is happening, whether is there any issue, whether it is charging, not charging. So all these things are happening. So then we have some partnerships ecosystem like dealerships, some sales agent kind of associates are there. So overall in the ecosystem, 40-45 people are companies even involved in that. Lots of companies are partners, are MOU with us for selling our product in their respective state, because we believe it's a geographical. It is not a sitting at Delhi, I can manage all those things. Every state have their own geographical challenge, political, physical, lots of things are there. So that's why we develop partnership model where we are working with local companies, means those who are having a strong base in their particular areas or state. So they are having a partnership, and we are quite happy with that, because we are easily managing our steps, and we are not feeling a major challenge. But yeah, as the number will increase, we have to increase our analytics part. Team will also increase when we start a good number of funding and all those things. But right now, this is how we are managing. Yeah.
Great, yeah, great. The channel model is helping you to be very, very efficient in your team size, and I think it is the right moment to expand now. I believe for you, it is the right moment to talk about where your startup stands in front of a large audience. Looking at that, obviously we've all been through the COVID time, and we've seen a lot of downs also, and a lot of ups, and a roller coaster going left and right and not giving us a task. So we had a word that we asked all our interviewees. We asked them the word resilience, and we come up with very creative answers from everyone. So, and you being a bootstrap startup, you might know resilience more than a lot of others. So please tell us what resilience means to you.
See, I believe, although on the practical side, COVID was not good because we lost lots of lives, and especially in our family relatives. So we never think to recall those memories. But on a business side, we learn a lot, like how to manage the ecosystem. It is not about just cut the salaries, remove the manpower and all those things. We retain all the manpower what we have we had that time, and they are still with us. We retain the salaries, whatever we have, we didn't deduct anything. That's why I believe. But yeah, one good thing we learned, at least we should keep cash backups for at least a year, so that any situation arise like that, you should not fire someone and make their life miserable, because they are also having challenge.
Agreed.
And most of the people are working in a startup ecosystem, not coming from like a very high background and all those things. So what we learned, uh, keep your team size what really required. It is not just you got a fund or a money, so make 100 people and then fire 90 people. It is not like that.
Yeah.
Then always focus on the revenues. I am telling you, we generated revenues in COVID time also, because our business model is like that. We keep increasing every year, almost 2 times we increased our revenues. So it is even COVID time, we make revenue to sustain whatever we required as a minimum. Then on the product size, always focus what product you are giving, so people get satisfied and support your ecosystem. It is not you are my vendor, so I force you, boss, you have to do, because he is also facing same challenge. I'm giving you a very practical example. My all clients, my all vendors whom I supported that time, now they don't ask a single question to me. Just they are doing their work. They are giving me more order from the clients, from the vendors. So overall ecosystem need to be maintained, and you should always think of that, who's really going to support you in your bad time. So right now we are again thinking, lots of talks happening of recession is coming, lots of things are talked on the big forums. So if that is going to happen again, not through COVID, now again there is a challenge. So how we are going to survive? We have a strategy. So first thing we learn, make a 2-year plan. I always keep backups, and most important, make your client as a friend, your vendor as a friend, so that they feel like a family. Support them. We supported them in their bad time, because my most of the business is from the transportation, and transportation is badly impacted. They have zero revenues, they are not moving and all those things, but we supported them, and now they are supporting me in terms of new orders.
Agreed.
So these things
I think
we
India
did.
has a very beautiful story coming out of these buyers becoming family, buyers becoming partners, buyers becoming something of a supporter. And then what has come out shows us that we are sustainable. We have a base which is stronger than anyone else's base. When the base is strong, you can build anything on it. So that's a great answer from you. Yeah. Thank you. It was a pleasure having you. I'll connect with you after this call as well. And we'll tell you how this will get populated online as well. Please send us your collaterals, and we'll use those to spread the story to our mentors as well. Apart from that, I would request my listeners to like, subscribe, and spread the message. So thank you, Varun. Pleasure to have you in our studio.
Thank you, Arjun. It was great talking and lovely discussion. I believe others people also get benefited, because we are always believe in spreading the information, especially about EV and charging infrastructure. So if anything else is required, we are always available for information sharing, and good to connect. Thank you. Pleasure talking. Bye. Bye.
Thanks, Varun. Pleasure talking to you.